Hello, hi, and welcome to Empathic Fire. I'm your reader, Jay. These are going to be general messages for the sign of Aries in the month of January 2019. What's up, Aries? How you guys doing? Hope you guys are doing well. Happy New Year, guys. Happy New Year's. Was it fun? If you're watching this after January 1st, did you have a good time? Was it amazing? I hope so. And even if you didn't do anything wild, or you weren't out dancing the night away, I hope you had a wonderful holiday. I hope Christmas went well. I hope Hanukkah was wonderful. I hope anything that you were celebrating in December and January has been just awesome for you, okay? So New Year, not a new deck. I've had this deck for a while, but new to the table. I haven't used this deck on camera before. So yeah. Slightly new. I'm actually recording this at the tail end of December, so I don't have whatever new decks I'm going to get for Christmas available for the readings. But yeah, so it's new to you guys, but definitely a familiar deck to me. Alright, so that's your main spread there. Going to shuffle now for your outcome and your overall energy. Once all the cards are out and they're lying face up, that's when the reading begins. And there will be a timestamp in the box below for that. Also down there is the information on how to get a personal reading with me if you want that. And there was something I was just about to say, and then I forgot. And am I remembering it now? Nope. Nope. Hopefully by the end of the video I will remember what I wanted to say, but who knows? Alright guys, let's get that outcome for you. Aries outcome, January 2019. There it goes. Off camera, of course, but it's out there. Bottom of the deck is the overall. And your card came like that. And it will be laid down right there. I'm trying to remember, but I can't remember what I was going to say. Wow, lots of major arcanas for you, Aries. Interesting. It's not what I wanted to say, but this is the English Magic Tarot, in case you're curious. So there's your main spread there, Aries. Let's go ahead and find out what's going on, okay? Where's Aries in January 2019? Please show me Aries in January 2019. Please show me. Wow, okay, come on. Where's Aries? Okay. Yeah. Okay, so here is where we're going to begin, but if I'm honest, you were in different areas, which to me usually is an indicator, Aries, that things might be a little topsy-turvy for you right now, a little hard to kind of pin down, or you might find yourself feeling quite differently in different circumstances. And I mean, that's kind of obvious. That's kind of a condition of life. But basically, you might be fluctuating between your position, your stance, or where you most prominently are anchored in January is basically what that means to me. Okay? Now, where we're going to start for your reading is here in the Lovers card. So Lovers is talking about choices, right? We talk about making head or heart decisions. We talk about, basically moving forwards or moving backwards, or, really trying to align yourself or align what's going on in your head with your heart, or vice versa. This is also a card associated with Gemini, so there might be a Gemini in your life who is significant, Aries, but it does not have to be that. The thing that they're drawing my eye to here is just the positioning of these two people. The woman facing us, and then the man who's facing away from her. Their backs are towards each other, and therefore that man's face is away from us. So someone's turning their back on something. Someone's faced away from something. Someone might be sort of in denial that there is a choice to make, or that there is an option to choose one thing over the other. I feel that maybe for some of you, Aries, it could be you, but it could be someone outside of you. It's a general reading. Apply it where it fits. But someone is sort of like unaware that they can walk away, or that they can make another choice, or that they can sort of reinvest themselves in another area or with someone else. That could be in a business situation, that could be in a relationship, that could be in a friendship. It all depends on your specific circumstances. But the issue here is, these two people, they're facing the same direction, right? If you think about it. But their perspectives are different. Where they're standing is different. So the man has to turn his head to the right. The woman has to turn her head to the left. So looking at the same thing, but coming at it from different perspectives is basically what's going on here. And like I said, it is, for some of you, a matter of a head over a heart decision or a heart over a head decision. Trying to align both of those places or both of those facets of yourself and making a clear decision going forward. But I'm feeling mostly for most of you, I'm just trying to give you as many different approaches to this or many different interpretations that I can get from this. But where I'm feeling this the most is that there is someone unaware of the choice they have to make, or the options that they have, not the choice that they have to make, but the options. So either someone is ignoring the choice, they're aware, but they're ignoring it. They're pretending like there is no option. Whatever they're doing now is what they will currently do from now until the end of time. And someone else is like, well, this is what I'm doing, but I don't see any other way to do, to get out of this, or to change the circumstances around me, or to change whatever. Therefore, this is what I must do. So there's sort of like this consolation, almost, love it, or not love it or lump it, but basically lumping it. And if I'm honest, it doesn't feel like all of your energy, Aries. I feel like some of you, this is you, but for many of you, it will be someone else. And in some cases, like this is like a domestic issue. For some reason, that broom plus that ram gives me a domestic feel. Like, even though that's not a domestic animal, I'm getting like the feeling like you might be having a discussion with your partner or with your business partner over the phone or something like that in your home, and you've got a dog or you've got a cat. Hell, maybe you've got a ferret. I don't know. And this animal's just like watching you having like this heated debate or heated argument or this heated exchange between yourself and another person, whether that person is sitting in the same room, on a Skype call, on a cell phone, I don't know. And it's like a subtle tension here in this card. Subtle tension. And again, that's like not really on point with traditional interpretations of the Lover's card. The Lover's card is usually, to me, enveloped in a very loving energy. And okay, I'm not going to say that that's not happening here, but it's more optimistic in most cases, I would say. This feels like it lacks optimism. Like I said, it feels like a consolation. It feels like this is just what I have to deal with, and I can't do anything about my circumstances. It's this co-signed energy, like, okay, my situation is not ideal, and instead of, putting the brakes on something or speeding something up or totally altering something, I'm just going to ride this out, is sort of what this feels like. Ay, ay, ay. And again, for some of you, that is where you are. For others of you, that's just an energy that is sort of around you in coming from another person or coming from, a certain relationship. I do feel it's, for many of you, not all of you, but many of you, it's anchored in business, it's anchored in work. And there's like, again, let me go back to that because I didn't really flesh that out, and I want to talk about that. The two people, right? Looking in the same direction. So, okay, so disagreements, yes, of course, but it feels like a deep thing. Like this is a disagreement based on like beliefs, based on convictions. So one person may want to, let's say this is a work situation, you want to approach a project, you Aries want to approach a project by going with method A. And the other person, whoever it is in your life, wants to go with method B. And they are going to get to the same result, or they're addressing the same issue, they are addressing the same concern. But again, the methodology is just totally different. And someone believes that if we do it this way, we will be more, I don't know, more open to future business, or we will build more clients. And the other person is like, well, if we do it my way, we'll just get a bigger profit. And that is, it's like, I hope what I'm trying to say is coming across to you. The goal is shared between these two people. They want the same thing, but the way that they're going about it is just totally, in some cases, opposite. Or, there might be a difference in ethics, or there might be a difference in perception of what is ethical, or what is fair, what absolves people from any type of guilt or any type of wrongdoing, things like this. Like, there's a definite weight in there about right or wrong, or what is the most right, what is the most correct way to do this without causing other people harm, without putting ourselves in financial jeopardy or legal jeopardy, things like that. That is a concern here as well. And I feel a lot of this is happening either at work or in a domestic space that encompasses work. So maybe some of you work from home, maybe some of you have run a business out of your home, some of you, for God's sakes, maybe some of you have a storefront that's attached to your home, or, sometimes doctors or clinicians or therapists will practice out of their home. So there's this attachment of work and home for you, okay? The other place where you were, which was right beneath, is the Strength card of Leo. So there might be a Leo of significance around you, but it doesn't have to be. This is really giving me like behind the scenes, what's going on. So behind the scenes, if I'm honest, it might be a Leo behind the scenes that's significant to some of you Aries, excuse me. So this could be another business partner or a future business partner. This could be a future or other romantic partner for some of you. But there's someone who is in your vicinity who's just kind of like this, like posted up on the back of a lion. Maybe not literally, but certainly someone who has this very regal, kind of affluent, or, very attractive quality to them. And they're attractive to you, Aries, because of this strength that they possess. Not to be redundant being that it's the Strength card, but it really is one of the things that attracts you to them. This woman is sitting on the back of this huge golden lion, which could be a statue, but let's assume that it was real, right? And she's just like sitting perched up on this wild animal's back as if it's nothing. So whoever this person is, I do feel it is external for most of you. Some of you, this is just an energy that you're harnessing in yourself. But for many of you, again, I feel most of you, this is a person, Leo or not, who just has this air of confidence about them, and it has an air of fearlessness about them. Not to say that they are, not to say like they're, running around like Evel Knievel meets, the cast of Jackass, and they're doing all kinds of crazy stunts and, doing all that, any of that, and they're not necessarily a risk taker, but there is sort of this confident, face adversity, struggle through hard times or deal with difficult situations, but do so with a certain prowess or a certain stoicism. Being stoic. I should know that word. Anyway, and they're just beneath your starting position. So they're close, but because whether you're the male or the female in the Lover's card, your focus is elsewhere. You don't even really know them, or not know them, but you don't really see this person. You might not see them often. You might not ever encounter them directly. They could be an acquaintance or something like that. Or again, if it's a business situation, you want to get to know them or you want to get closer to them. You just haven't been introduced yet. And there's this effect that this person has on you if you are able to ever catch their eye or they catch your eye or something like that. There's just like this amazed feeling I get. And you're not easy to catch the attention of, Aries. Like, someone has to be so damn special to catch your attention. So this person is definitely special. Again, their zodiac sign doesn't matter. It's really about that energy. They exude a certain quiet confidence. And they might be a super quiet person. Like this scene, woman on the line, is very pastoral, or right? It's very much like rural. Like she's not in a city, she's out on the mountainside. So this person might have a connection to nature, might have a naturally quiet demeanor. And I'm not sure, there's this allure to this person. There's this desire to get to know them, to become closer to them. Again, business or otherwise. If it's romantic, same thing applies. But the connection, honestly, could be missed. Okay? Because I'm not taking them being beneath your starting position for granted. Like, they're off doing their own thing. They're off focused on their own thing. They're chilling. They're enjoying their time on the back of that lion. So whatever they're doing in their life, they're consumed with that. They're very focused on that, and they're just off being an individual. So there might be like a passing of, like a ship's passing in the night kind of thing between you two. You might see each other in the hallway at work, or, you know, maybe this is someone who you just see when you're buying your coffee in the morning on your way to work, and they're on their way to work. Or maybe they're an artist and they're sitting there, sketching on a tablet or something, and you're like, oh my God, I'm in the rat race and that person's over there living their dream. They're so cool. Whatever it is. What the significance of this person is, I'm not sure, other than they have your attention. Or you have their attention. It could go the other way. And there's just this admiration. There's like this long distance admiration. There's this long distance desire to know them. Whether that's biblically or not, you just want to know this person, talk to them, share coffee or share conversation over coffee with them, go see a movie with them, hang out with them. I don't know, whatever the hell you want to do. It's this, I want to be there, not necessarily like all up in their business, but I want to be open enough. And maybe it's a time thing. Maybe you're like, you set up plans with this person. If you do know them, if you are in communication, maybe you're able to set up plans with this person, but then they fall through because you have things on your agenda and your schedule, and they've got things on there, and you guys just kind of never actually connect. And that's why I'm saying, like, I feel there's this potential there, but the actual connection of it is very loose. It's like staticky. It's like not a full charge. It's like a blip of a thing. Okay? Now, what's going on elsewhere? Interesting. Okay. So, going back up here, looking at their line of sight, the two people in the Lovers card. On either side, you have two other major arcanas. And, yep. Yeah, okay. So we'll go here. Alright, so what's in their line of sight? Again, if they're looking that way, right? The Temperance card. Card of Sat. All the fire signs are here. I just noticed this. I'm so slow on the uptake sometimes. All the fire signs are here. We're going to talk about that in a minute, but all the fire signs are here. So that's significant for somebody out there. Now, Temperance card of Sagittarius. Why I laughed before I picked up this card is because how I said before about how here is this need or this possibility of making a choice, but somebody's avoiding it, someone's ignoring it, someone doesn't even realize they can make a choice. And then I looked at this card and I see, oh, this person, this woman, has her head not even buried in the sand, has her head fully dunked into a body of water. So that to me is just like a further significance or a further sign that, again, something is just not being addressed. And that is also kind of one of the backbone or sort of like the underlying tone of the Temperance card is like, the Temperance card wants to or would beg you to face certain situations, to face certain circumstances, and kind of find a healing balance between yourself and another person, or somehow within the context of whatever we're talking about. So what the hell did that all just mean, Jay? Basically, you don't want to go overboard with anything. You don't want to go too far to the left, too far to the right. You want to get it just right down the middle, right down the line. And again, I think I mentioned here, there's this concern for someone, maybe even both people, that whatever we move towards, whatever decisions are made, it has to be fair. It has to be balanced. There has to be a focus on what is right. And the Temperance card is that dedication to finding out and really coming to terms with what is right. Defining those terms and seeing which option best fits those terms, best fits that description, okay? So if this is business, this is like about negotiations, you want to negotiate a certain contract. All right, so let's go over the clauses, let's go over the stipulations, let's go over the terms and the limits and all this other kind of stuff. And that requires a lot of back and forth communication. That requires a lot of, compromise and concessions on parts of however many parties are involved. And that also, with the Temperance card, involves time. Temperance is not an overnight energy. You just don't get to this place of being balanced, of being clearer in your thoughts and in your intentions overnight. So there needs to be time invested into leading up to that decision. So some of you might want a result, and your partner, whoever it is, business partner, lover, I don't know, wants a result as well. But you both have to communicate. You both have to talk about what your terms are that you want to see met in this new contract. What are their terms that they want to see met in the contract, etc., etc. And the part that talks about healing in this would involve giving yourself time to breathe, or giving yourself time to sort of mull it over. In some cases, it would but it might come from a spiritual place. So you might pray on it, you might meditate on it, you might discuss it, casually with a friend, trying not to break any, NDAs or anything like that. But you might kind of spitball your ideas or spitball your position to other people. And doing all of that, actively thinking about it, not in the negotiation part, but within yourself, praying, meditating, discussing it with people who are not involved in the situation, with third parties, or some person who has, an objective point of view, right? All of that is like an exercise in finding temperance, right? And and that's the thing, is you need to find that balance, Aries, because Aries, you can be very resolute, you can be very decisive, and you can be really sort of about your ideas, and you have your way of thinking and your way of doing, and that is the way that it works, and that is the way it's always worked. And you can kind of cling to things. Sometimes, not as bad as other signs, but sometimes you can. And so they wanted me to talk about, again, this head underwater thing. When your head is underwater, much like if your head was buried in sand, you're not open. Your ears are covered, your eyes are covered, all your senses are blocked, basically. And when you do that, you prevent newness in. You prevent outside perspective in. So even when you're in discussion with someone who's not involved, who has that objective point of view, or even when you're saying your prayers and your meditations and your chants or whatever, and you're looking for that clarity in involving this scenario, right? Don't put your head underwater if you hear things that don't agree with you, or that contradict your point of view, or challenge. Even challenge is more what you should be open to. If it challenges your perspective, if it challenges your ideas, if it challenges your methodology, don't put your head under the water. Come up for air. Don't drown yourself in your reflection, because, again, this body of water would be a reflective surface, right? So if we think about what happened before this woman did this, she didn't have to, but the water would have been a reflection of herself. And so putting her head in the water, dunking her head under the water, would be her submerging herself in her own image. Does that make sense? So, like, basically, get your head out of your own ass, okay, Aries? Don't, and I shouldn't leave all that on you. Let me remind us why I went this way, is because both people are looking this way. So there might be, you might be sticking to your guns from your perspective, work relationship, love relationship, friends. I don't know what kind of relationship we're talking about, but you might be sticking to your guns and the other person is sticking to their guns. You both got your heads underwater and you're not going to make any headway that way. Okay? You have to be willing to communicate with them. They have to be willing to communicate and listen to you. Or maybe you need a moderator. Maybe you need somebody to come in and actually sit down between the two of you and open up a dialogue. You might need that. For some of you, if this is a relationship thing, that's a counselor. Or you need to involve a counselor in here somewhere. And maybe that's who this... I don't know why I'm knocking so hard with my crystal in this card, but maybe that's who this is. Like, maybe you guys have tossed around this whole, let's go to therapy, let's go to counseling, let's see if we can, meet in the middle or get our grievances out in a way that doesn't involve or lead to some type of argument. Here's the therapist you may know, or you may have someone who suggested it to you, or you might be perusing Google and you see someone who's highly recommended, good Yelp reviews or whatever, and you could interact with this person, send them an email. Oh, my friend Sharon told me about your practice. I would love to come in with my husband or my wife or whoever, blah, blah, blah. But you haven't made that introduction yet. You haven't reached out that hand yet. Feel free to do it. You don't have to, because the Lovers is about choice and anything in life is about free will, right? But I see the potential, regardless of it being a romantic relationship or not, that if you involve this other person, if they're a counselor, if there's some type of objective third party who can help you create dialogue, create a space where you and the other people that you're involved with, or the other person you're involved with, where you can get together and talk to one another instead of shouting, do it. Do it. Okay? Now, on the other side of this, here you are. You've got the Emperor card of Aries. So you're here in your own reading, and look at him. And this might be you guys. The Emperor is number one, the most decorated, the most accomplished, just the king of kings, okay? Literally, he is the king of the kings. The Emperor outranks all of the kings and the queens and the knights and everything. Every member of the court cards. The Emperor rules them all, okay? Alongside the Empress, his co-partner. Now, and so he's decked out to the nines. He looks like a regal, lovely man. But he looks tired. He looks a little tired. Like, he looks like he could use a vacation. Okay? So that could be you, Aries, where you're overworked. Some of you. Not all of you, but some of you. You might be, working 2 jobs, 3 jobs. You might own your own business and you just work crazy hours. You might run the business and you gotta, take care of staffing issues. The holidays have just passed, so you had to, accompany all of your staff's needs and who needed vacation time and blah, 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 and all this stuff. So there's just like a headache and a half for many of you surrounding your work. If it's not surrounding work, it would be surrounding your domestic situation, or even some of you, maybe even school. But you've been very dedicated to whatever arena is providing you with the most stress. You've reaped a lot of benefits from it. So, many of you are making pretty good money, or, you have a great job with great benefits and, you're steadily moving up the corporate ladder. Even though you're not raking in the dough, you're certainly able to keep yourself afloat. If you're not making any money at all, if you're like a college student or a grad student or something like that, you're decked out in these clothes because you're bringing in great grades and you're making great professional contacts and you're working on wonderful research projects and all this other kind of stuff, right? But the bottom line, Aries, is that this guy, this Emperor energy, as much as he's able to make a name for himself, become a leader, become someone that people trust, become someone who is the provider for a family, male or female, it does not matter. That, again, is a tiresome game to play. And I feel, Aries, a lot of you are reluctant to let this go. I don't think that you need to let it go completely, but like there is a focus on this. There is like, there's a focus on this. There's this, I've built all this, I've put in this work, I'm not going to just walk away. Someone refuses to walk away. And again, it's not that someone needs to walk away completely. I think it's more of an issue of maybe be open to some criticism, maybe be open to new ideas or different ideas, and being able to work with various people across however many different, like tables, like reach across the aisle, so to speak, if you were coming in from the political sphere, right? But reach across the aisle, reach across the table, broker deals with people that you normally wouldn't broker deals with, business or relationships, it does not matter. And here we are again, where there's someone, and in all of these cards, there are at least two figures, which is interesting. So here you've got in the back, you've got that jester, right? Peeping out from behind the curtain, checking in on the emperor, seeing that he's miserable, and then like smirking the jester smirk. Now, as some of you may know, I studied English. I'm not like an English buff or anything, but I studied English, and like that's always been my strong suit. And so one of the things that I found about Shakespeare's King Lear, I believe, and I love this, I didn't love reading it, but once, you study it and you kind of understand the implications of it, it's wonderful. In that play, King Lear's, this old king, not to spoil it for anybody, he's this old king, he's trying to decide what to do with his kingdom afterwards, after he dies. And he's got these three daughters, and they all have their own, agendas in mind, and one's a conniver, one is like, I think, one's conniving, one's just like pure evil, I think, and the third one, he rejects, but she's actually the one that loves him the most. Anyway, and he's, he's old and he's crotchety and he's cranky. He's like, I've run this kingdom and I've been the king for however long, and I'm mighty and I'm amazing. And, he's got knights and earls and dukes under him who are much younger and much more power hungry and savvy than he is. And he doesn't realize that. The only one who tells him about it is the jester, or what do they call him in the play? The fool, right? So there could be someone in your ear giving you the business, giving you the inside track, Aries. Not to say that you're some old king and you're foolish, but anything, or you've surpassed your time in the sun. It's not to say that, but there could be someone who's telling you things that you don't want to hear, but from them you'll take it, or from them you're a little bit more receptive. So maybe that's a friendly neighborhood tarot reader. I don't know. But if it's not, any tarot person on the internet, it's someone that you trust who is close to you, who, not that you should do any and everything that they say, but they might have some interesting insight. And I think they would be separate from this person who is sitting in the strength card energy. This could be like your brother, your sister. Am I going to sneeze? Okay, no. No, I'm not. Okay. Sorry, apologize about that. So it could be a close relative of yours who would then be suggesting to you, hey, look at the person in the strength card. Don't you think you should talk to them? Because if you talk to them, then maybe they could help you out. So again, if you're in that energy of, I don't know what to do, I don't think I have any options, the fool or the jester in this card might be telling you, you do have options. Look right beneath you and you'll find the strength card person. And then you say, oh, them? And the person, and this guy, this jester is like, yes, them. And you finally might make that connection with the fool card, or excuse me, with the strength card person. And then that might, get things rolling for you. But I do feel that with this Emperor card, there's a lot, I don't feel the Emperor ever stands a chance of losing what he has. He plans and he plots, and he is so just amazing at finding stability and finding a way of maintaining his status, maintaining his power, that I don't think the Emperor could ever really be defeated. So if some of you have a concern about making certain choices or certain moves and getting involved with certain people or talking to certain people and losing it all, quote unquote, losing it all or risking it all, I don't think that can happen. I don't take that as, well, I'm just going to go out here and sign this. No, really sit there and weigh your options and be methodical about it. Be pragmatic about it. But ultimately, I feel if you have a drop, or at least a considerable, not even a drop, a considerable connection with this card, with this energy, with your own innate energy, Aries, I can't see that you would ever truly fail. Honestly. It would take so much to bring the Emperor down. So much. All right? Now, right beneath the Emperor, which is interesting, you've got the Eight of Wands. So traditionally, the Eight of Wands talks about communication. It talks about things moving really fast, and things kind of coming in to you, or that, like it or lump it. There we go. Like it or lump it, you kind of have to deal with the repercussions or deal with the consequences of the Eight of Wands energy. And that's kind of here too. But obviously for me, and the thing about this deck is, like, you really have to sit here and kind of decipher the image, because, you know, there's suddenly a horse in there. You know, like on first glance, you just see some dude and he's throwing some wands in the air, and then what's behind him? Like panthers and foxes or something? But it's like, oh, but there's also this horse. So again, there's like a lot of swiftness. Horses, foxes, panthers, or lions, or lionesses, or whatever those more gray looking animals are. All of those animals are fast. Faster than a human, for sure. And so again, that... Coming back, yes, thank you. If you're here, and someone who could potentially help you is here, and the L connection you have is this Eight of Wands, you have to act fast. You have to speak, not fast, but you have to make communication or initiate communication fast, quickly, soon. Okay? If you want to get if you want to get the ball rolling, if you want to get the show on the road. For some of you, if this is talking about a romantic thing, what I said earlier about feeling like you have a partner, or you have a connection with someone, or you have some type of dealings with someone that you can't get away from romantically. What does that mean? A relationship. Marriage, maybe, for some of you. And you feel like, oh, well, I'm married. This is it. Well, obviously not, because more than half of marriages end in divorce. I'm not saying just go ahead because statistically it's supposed to fail. I'm not saying that. But some people, and this is not a challenge, this is not a critique, it's just trying to qualify what I'm about to say. Some people really adhere to the idea of, I'm only going to get married once. Maybe some of them come from a broken home. I don't want to be like my parents. I don't want to have to get divorced after 10, 15 years of marriage, 20, 30 years of marriage. It sounds crazy. If you've been married to the same person for 30 years, you're in your 50s, you're in your 60s, it seems insane. Like, why quit? Why split this up? Why? You know, a lot of people in that age bracket, and again, it's not a critique, it's just to exemplify what I'm saying, feel that I've gone this far with this person, my life's basically over. Why pursue a divorce, or why pursue separation? You know, so for whatever reason people have to adhere to what they adhere to me, there's validity behind it if you really, you know, examine their situation. Now, that's where that person is. Could be you, could be other partner, whatever, I don't know. But that's where this is in the Lover's card. Adhering to something that we feel can't be broken or shouldn't be broken. And here, you've got this person who is around you and you are attracted to them. But if you don't communicate, if this is you, as it would be, the Aries card, right? And here they are in the Strength card. No matter what the Zodiac is, but it is associated with Leos. If you don't communicate with this person fast, it's like you accept this in-between kind of energy, or this energy of being just perpetually dissatisfied. And I'm like, is that what you want? To continue to be dissatisfied is basically the question here. And I started that with like a bigger point that I wanted to make, but that's basically where we're gonna leave that whole corner. And again, it doesn't have to be romantic. It can be business. This could be an amazing investor, someone that you admire in the industry, someone looking for up-and-coming businesses, or looking for businesses that are established but need to grow, need like that next level investment. You need to get on this person. You need to email them. You need to leave them voicemails. You do whatever. You know, I don't know, do whatever, okay? But if you don't want to, you don't have to, of course. On their side, no. On the opposite side of this person is what I want to say, is the Queen of Wands. So a lot of fire energy here, if you haven't noticed. Like the only non-quote-unquote, or quote-unquote, the only true non-fire card is the Lovers. Everything else is a fire card or associated with the fire signs. So, Queen of Wands. Aries, Leo, Sagittarius energy. But again, it does not have to be. It's really, again, the energy of the card, the energy of the person. Interesting. Let me see, what she... Oh, well... Wow, I've never really taken it that way, but okay. So they drew me to those two strips of yellow around her. I always took this, like when I see this card, I usually take it as like someone who's like really creative, like in the fashion industry or something like that, or some type of designer, like a web designer or an illustrator or something like that. This time around, still in that ballpark, but this person, again, they're drawing me to those big strips of yellow. They're like writing, scroll. I'm like, she doesn't even have like any writing tools in her hands. But if you look at those two strips of yellow, maybe they could be scrolls. So this person, whoever it is a writer or is affluent. No, affluent. Okay, they could be affluent, but this person is like extremely good at writing. Like they're an excellent writer. Maybe they're published. Maybe they are a journalist of some type. Or like I said, in a creative sense, maybe they're a content creator for certain websites or certain design houses, things like that. I do feel it is a feminine energy. So not to say that this person would be female, but this person would be very much in touch with femininity or the aspects of femininity that we kind of assign to women. So emotional, like, you know, maybe even very much motivated through their emotions, okay? This person would, you know, be very in touch with their sensitivities, okay? Instinctual as well. You know, that would be part of their savvy. That would be part of their success in their work, is that they're super, super smart in their work. They could be kind of dumb in other areas, but particularly to their work or particularly to creative stuff, they're very smart about it. And the significance that I'm feeling is like an influencer on you, on your business, on your relationship. Could be a mother or a mother-in-law kind of person. And that energy can be interpreted, or that those roles could be interpreted as interfering. But I don't see that. Because you see how her arms are up and she kind of looks like she would be on like marionette strings, like someone would be her puppeteer. It's kind of how I'm feeling it. So I feel like she has a role. She's a part of the performance if she was a puppet, right? But she is ultimately tied up or being controlled or being influenced by something else. So the significance is kind of not fake, but not as impactful as you or someone else thinks, Aries. Because truly, someone else might be pulling her strings, or her interest is somewhere else. You know what I mean? Like, so to bring it back to like that mother-in-law kind of thing, some of you might have this concern. If I go into therapy with my husband, with my wife or whatever, my mom or my mother-in-law is going to have things to say about it. And that might be true. You know, she might perform her role. You know, what are you doing going to talk to a stranger about your life? Your issues are private. What, like, this person might be critical towards your decision. But again, this person is tied up in another area of their own life. So the impact or the influence that they have on your situation, Aries, is limited, is what I'm getting. Limited. So if this is a motherly figure to you, or someone whose opinion you kind of value or put a lot of emphasis on, I wouldn't worry too much about it. Because again, it's just an opinion, right? Number one. And number two, I just feel all of that energy that they could throw your way would be, you could shield yourself from it. You could deflect it. You could, sidestep it. The impact of this person's behavior, opinions, insight, criticisms, whatever, it will only go so far. So don't worry about it too much, okay? Is there significance in that? Let me review something here. Hold on. Oh wow, and that's true too. It's like the transit. I don't think so. And if there is, like, that message has come and gone, and I should have addressed it earlier. But I was just going back to see if they would tell me anything about the connection between Aries, Leo, Sagittarius. How it's making this triangle effect. Because, patterns and stuff. But no, I'm not really getting anything for it. So we're just going to move on to your your outcome for January 2019, Aries. Ace of Wands in reverse. Show you this card upright so you can become familiar with it in the deck. So in reverse, so the aces are the opportunity cards, right? The chance cards, where there is this possibility of moving forward in a certain direction, but you have to strike while the iron is hot. If you do not, you miss the opportunity. In this case, Aries, I feel, for whatever reason, many of you, not all, but many of you are going to miss an opportunity. Doesn't mean that a door is closed completely. Doesn't mean that a matter will remain unresolved or result in a way that leaves you completely devastated or completely, dissatisfied. No. There's just this dropping of the ball, like a fumble in football, Sometimes I suppose a fumble can cost you the game, but usually a fumble isn't going to, especially if it's early enough in a game, right? It's not going to, ruin everything. You know what I mean? There are other things at play in a football game or any other sport where an oopsie basically happens, right? There are other factors involved in the grand scheme of things. So whatever opportunity some of you, again, not all of you, are missing, maybe it'll come back around. Maybe another option or opportunity will present itself later down the line. Or for just a few of you, missing the opportunity is sort of a stepping stone for you, or a stepping stone in the sense of you'll learn from it. You'll gain some type of insight or understanding by missing out. But that is for a few of you, not for most of you, not for even a good portion of you. And that's, even though this is coming in reverse, and even though it's not going to, bank for a lot of you, you're not going to, like I said, take this opportunity or be able to capitalize on this opportunity. Even though that's true for many of you, I still feel, like I said earlier, the Emperor's not going to lose a lot. Even though I know you started here, you're definitely here too. And here's where you are with other people, and that's why we started here, to kind of give us that foundation for the storyline. But if you want to know where you are all by yourself, here. Tired, yes. Accomplished, yes. On the verge of breaking completely, of losing it all, no way. Okay? So, might not go the way you want it to, might have some setbacks, but it's ultimately not going to bring down the ship. Okay? Your overall energy, oh man. See, I don't even look at the cards. I'm like looking in front of me. I'm looking at my hand, or I'm looking at the screen here. And so that's why I was like, oh man, when I picked this up, the Four of Coins. Four of Coins, talk about restriction. There's a lot of restriction on the top row, or reluctance on the top row. And this would be confirmed if we looked at this in just rows with the 4 of coins coming in your overall. Holding back, penny pinching for some of you, or being overly concerned with financial issues or possessions, and that makes sense. If we're talking business, yes, that's the bottom line in business is money, yes. But if you're too tight-fisted, you can come into situations that basically don't work in your favor. You know, I don't own a business or anything. Technically, well, I guess you. I don't own like a super duper business, but anyway, it doesn't matter. You got to spend money to make money, or you have to take risks. You know, you have to be, kind of account for things, for new opportunities or new investments, and there's this reluctance to do that. 4 of coins is, and coins are equivalent, obviously, to pentacles in the traditional decks, is about holding on to and not wanting to spend or not wanting to invest for fear of it being squandered or lost. And I'm telling you, whatever potential investment you have, whether it's financial, whether it's an investment in your marriage, if you want to save your marriage, if it's an investment to dissolve a marriage, and you're talking, this is like a divorce lawyer or something like that, whatever you're trying to do that seems totally off the cuff, or totally, not off the cuff, but just like a risk, maybe you should take that risk. Many of you won't, but some of you might. And I think it could work out. Either way, you will remain as the emperor. You will remain in that that position of power. You will remain, knowing who you are and having your integrity and your dignity intact. I don't think you're going to lose much, even though that Ace of Wands came as your outcome, okay? All right, Aries, that is your reading for January 19th. Welcome to the new year, bro. Or girl, or whoever you are. If you like what you saw, there's a like button down there. Leave comments below, share, and subscribe to the channel. All that stuff would be amazing. I haven't done it yet, but I'm going to do it soon. I think I'm eventually going to get into a website launch. So I will keep you guys posted if I'm going to, or as I move further and further down that road. So look forward to that whenever I make an announcement, okay? And I don't even think that was what I was going to tell you at the top of the video. I felt like there was another message, and I totally lost it. So, but anyway, thank you guys so much for watching. I look forward to seeing you when I come back next month for February 2019. Until then, take care, guys. Bye.